Hello and welcome back to Farming Simulator 25 with me, Daddy Jokey. And this time I made sure that I'm recording this instead of finding several hours in that I actually am missing an episode because of my silly mistake. So yes, if you've noticed, there is episode 29 and there is episode 31, but there is no episode 30. That is because I messed up somehow. I either lost the recording, I don't know how, or I never even made the recording, as I said in the previous episode. And yeah, I don't know. Don't know what happened. We still have 1500 liters of barley in here. We can feed that to the chickens. But as you can see, we are finished with this, with land clearance in this area, and we are going to, after we have some money, we are going to build a sheep pasture in here, and that's gonna be that. But some other things, it is January 1, and so we now have extra extra goats in our pen here. As you can see, we have new babies and we have older babies, and we have the mama goat. This goat is 26 months old. What is that in years? 3 years old then. Yes. So we will have to do a little bit of shoring up of this, get them a little bit more water. They are kind of down to a quarter tank. It might actually serve them until tomorrow, so I might just leave that. And we are about half full in this pen. We have 18 out of 30. Now, other things that we are working on are obviously wrong button again. Obviously our canning factory is cranking away at the carrots, and as you can see, it used up a good amount over the month of December, but unfortunately not nearly enough to help make that pile disappear. So I'm gonna continuously deliver that to over there. Let's actually go and have a peeky at what they're doing, or rather how they're doing. Check that out. That's not horrible. I stacked these earlier, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So 11 pallets. If we look at our stock, that's right here. That's a good amount of money already, 24,000. So, you know, I'm not offended by this in the slightest. This is good. But first thing that we gotta do today is do our wood chips. So I am going to pop back to our farm, and we are going to unload, or rather load, all of the wood chips that we have on our farm. And then we also have to do all of the straw, as you can see over here. Straw is currently at a good price as well, so we're going to load it up and deliver it to the animal dealer. But wood chips, we have 16,000 liters here and then 2 more thousand at the sawmill already, so we're gonna go ahead and grab all of that, and that should be a good amount of money. It's not gonna be good enough amount of money for the build of the shed. It's not going to be good amount of money for the build of the sheepfold or sheep pasture, whatever you want to call it, but it's going to be about halfway to what we need. So I'm not too worried about it. So I think the best way to do this is going to be to leave the truck over here. I'll leave it running, and I'll grab the tractor, and I'll grab the front loader and the pallet fork. Here you can see this is our Conchi Speedmax 560 that we bought in the missing episode. Let's unhook the trailer, and essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna drive the tractor into the barn, then park the truck right in front of the door to the barn. That way we don't have to do any suspicious maneuvers while we are dealing with this. And it is a little bit kind of drab, unfortunately, because of the weather. It is January, it is not super sunny. I don't know. I live in Colorado, and so it always looks like summer here. Even if it's freezing, it's actually never all that cold. Whenever it's sunny, it's not cold. Even if you have merciless wind, at least down here on the Front Range. Obviously up in the mountains, different story entirely. And you don't wanna get caught without proper gear up in the mountains. That's for sure. At least not come winter time. So we're gonna see actually if I can get this done by loading 2 at the same time. That'd be nice. Make life a little bit easier for... Crap. I was gonna say for ourselves, but then immediately the box shifted. So I don't think easier is the name of the game here at any point. There we go. And obviously then it's not gonna want to go away. It is a particularly fiddly thing to have to do in Farming Simulator, at least in Farming Simulator 25. I honestly genuinely don't remember how easy or difficult this has been in previous Farming Simulator. I feel like, and this is just a feeling, this is not based in any like scientific observation or anything, I feel like every Farming Simulator, pallets and bales are horrible to deal with until giants go ahead and fix it. And I feel like this happens every like game iteration, every new version of Farming Simulator. They do something to like the wood and the pallets, and then it doesn't work right. Oh, what is happening? I'm hitting the wrong buttons here. Clearly I'm practiced at this, yeah? But I feel like they do something every time and just mess it up, and then they have to fix it. But every time they do it, it's something different. Like, it's never just like, oh yeah, it's just this one thing, let us quickly patch it. No, it's always like 17 patches later, they finally figured it out. Okay, now I'm gonna try to scoop up these two without toppling over anything. Oh, God above. Yeah, as you can see, this is going really well. Professional Farming Simulator player, everybody. Let me fix that real quick. I know it's cheesy, but honestly. What is... Oh. Oh. Noob being a noob, essentially, is what's happening here. But, as you can see, it is just a lot of different fuffing around with things. Right? Like... Maybe I should have a, what do you call it, a pallet lifter, forklift, and it would be easier, but I rather doubt it. So instead of doing 45 minutes of me messing around with this, I'm just going to sort of cut to black, and we can get on our way. Okay, well, I am back. What I ended up having to do is I moved the truck a little farther away from the door so that I had a little bit more room to maneuver. But at the end of the day, it doesn't actually matter what you do, because look at this. I actually took the time to fix the loading job that I did, and you might as well not bother, because the collisions on these pallet boxes are just so ridiculous, or something is just broken, that they just dance off of the bed of your vehicle. So this isn't actually a poor stacking job, despite the fact that I proved to the contrary in the before the fade to black, but I fixed it all up, took the time, I actually slowed my time, actually I should put it back to 5x. I slowed my time down so that I didn't waste all of daylight doing that, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter because as soon as I moved the truck, it all started dancing around. And yeah, just roll with it. Just one of those things that happens in this game. You can either love it or you can hate it. And I'll be honest, if you hate it, I don't blame you. It is difficult to love. I am having a difficult time enjoying the game. That's for sure. I am excited to go and try some custom maps in the future. I am particularly looking forward to Clamsden Farm, which has already been released at the time of... oh, bloody hellfire. As of the time of recording this. And it has, I think, even been patched, provided that the patch didn't get hung up at Giants. So, you know, that is a possibility, but I have also put in a few hours into this map already, and I want to see some kind of progress rather than just moving on to a new thing again. So here we are. As you can see, we have a few things here. We're gonna go tell Noah to grab his pallet loader or forklift or whatever he has and get us sorted, and we'll get out of here. Hello, Noah. Can you please load up the wood chips for me? Yeah, just chuck it up top. Alright, buddy. Thanks a lot. We'll see you later. Nah, I don't know. Just a little bit of role playing. Trying to get into the groove of it. See if it'll work in terms of later playthroughs. Now, where do we need to take the wood chips? Grain River Silo. Where be that be? It's that one over there. Of course, it's on the other side of the map. Fastest way to get there, probably back through the town, all the way to here, and then up and around, or this way. Yeah, let's go that way. Scenic route. I haven't actually really been on this side of the map all that much, so it'll be fun. But we'll have to drive carefully. Again, we're driving with like a load that's just, good grief, that's just calling for getting pulled over with an improperly loaded vehicle. But yes, here we go. We will go to Grain River Silo, and they should net us, what was that, 18,000? So that's pretty good. You could say that that's enough money to actually build that sheepfold, because it should be 15,000, but as we all know, building anything in this game is a bit of a struggle bus, and so I would rather have a little bit of a buffer in case it goes all wrong, so that I don't have to fuff around with adding and removing money. So here we go, turning this way. We're gonna drive up. It's 1.6 kilometers. And yeah, that's not a lot. We'll be there in a jiff. This is a field, this little field right here is the field where I first tried harvesting carrots with the single row harvester to see how that goes. And 10 out of 10 can't recommend. It is, if you think harvesting it with that 4-row harvester was a chore, you wouldn't believe the amount of work harvesting it with this one was. Ah, shoot, I may have gone slightly wrong over here. So let's take this little side street right behind the paper mill. Is that what this is? Look at that. I actually haven't seen that. Hold up. Eek. Let's have a looky at this. There's like a little sluice over here. Obviously, because the paper mill needs water, and then there is like a nice little pond with a boat over there. This is a really kind of a cute area. Yeah, I mean, like I said in the first episode, they really took the time to make a proper map this time. It is very unfortunate that there is a lot of features on this map that are just not working right, or not working well, I guess you could say. Because that's kind of, you know, we all sunk a lot of hours into these default maps, and it kind of stings having to quit. Not because we necessarily want to, but because the maps are just, now that there are better options, the maps are just too much too broken, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say, really. Whoa! Fuck. It's not just the maps. I mean, the physics in this game are a joke, right? And you could say that having a vehicle loaded like this would make it easy to flip, but we all know, if you've watched some of my previous episodes, you can flip this truck over taking a turn at 25 miles per hour, even if you just have a single row of the boxes loaded. It is, the physics are just not working right on this vehicle. I haven't tried the Lizard Dragon. I do hope it's better, because if I find it on used vehicle sale, I'm totally grabbing it. I don't know who I have to sell. And again, I mean, you see the vehicle tips over like the minimum amount of just work, right? There's nothing I can do differently to make this not happen. And this is why you absolutely need to have super strength mod of some kind. I don't care if it's the dev tools. I recommend the developer tools so that you actually have the ability to like spawn and despawn things and add money when the game just cheats you out of income, because there is so much brokenness happening. But anyway, as I was saying before, I got so rudely interrupted a second time. I will be buying that Lizard Dragon as soon as I get a chance. Lizard Dragon is the like sort of Asian vehicle. We can quickly pop into the shop and have a looky at it. It's is it in the trucks? I think it's in trucks. Yeah, it's this guy right here. So currently we have this International CV series. This thing, much better, I think. I mean, I haven't tested it, but I haven't seen anybody flipping over driving around with a few boxes. You can equip it with a trailer hitch. It's got the same extensions as this thing, right? We can have a flatbed, we can have a small, we can have a deep grain thing, and so it'll actually be a lot better, I think, than this vehicle currently. I'm even experiencing a problem with this vehicle where the tailgate on the back of this isn't there, but we can't actually put anything in there as if it were. But anyway, so here come all the wood chips. We have gotten 17, almost $18,000. So that took care of wood chippers. Next is straw, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna throw that all into our trailer. We're gonna put the extension back on it and put that all in there. And then everything else is, we could deliver planks to the playground as well. This is another episode of frequent delivery. But it is what it is. I'm gonna grab a quick sip of my delicious beverage here. Lovely jubbly. Cup of coffee. And yes, we should talk some planning. Probably a big part of what farmers do, I would imagine, unless they just wing it, in which case I'm not surprised some of them go under. Yes, we have a field that we have nothing currently in, and we gotta figure out what to do there. Now, typically, I don't do anything out of the ordinary, but this game offers a lot of things I haven't done before, including, and you will laugh, including the olives and the grapes. I haven't done those in FS22 because it seemed like you need a lot of different equipment that costs a lot of money to start with, and so it's not particularly easy to get into, right? Like they start you, if you start like a sort of a realistic, you know, oh, you inherited 7 million billion dollars, yeah, then it's easy to start whatever you want. But typically I try to go, you know, this sort of route that they gave us. You inherited grandpa's farm, you have a couple $1,000s to your name and a truck type thing, and whatever grandpa left at the farm. But actually, what am I doing? We need this. No, we don't. But so then I never actually got around to doing grapes or olives because it costs money to build, quote unquote, the trees, and then, you know, all the different machinery that you need. And then people were also saying that it wasn't really all that effective in terms of income, that you can do many other things in Farming Simulator that make a lot more money than grapes or olives. And I'll be honest, I was also pretty sour about the fact that they added grapes to the game but didn't add like winemaking. And, you know, having argued online with people about it, I understood. Before I even went online, I understood why they haven't added winemaking. It is because as soon as you add alcohol to the game, there are regions in the world where people are stuck in, I don't even know, you know, what, I don't even know where they're stuck. They have some twisted morality where we need to protect children from alcohol by never exposing them to it, right? Like, because that has worked so great for America. Nobody is an alcoholic here. No college student ever blacked out because the first time they were at a party they drank all the things and then don't remember their mom's name or where they were born, right? That's never happened here. So you know, I understood what they were saying. I understood why that happened, but it was still bothersome, right? And you could say, well, you can download mods. You can, but let's like, wine production has always been a little bit more involved than just like, this is how you do the field work, right? Usually wineries have subsidiary incomes from things like excursions or, you know, hostelry, where you have a hotel on your farm where people can come and they can taste the wine and they can see how you do it. It's like a whole thing, right? And that's the part of the game that that's the part of like what I was hoping would be in the game when they said that they are putting in wine. And so, you know, take all of those together and I was just sort of kind of meh, not interesting. But short story long, you know, we could do something with that in FS25 and see what happens. I really should have pulled that out, but it is what it is. I'm gonna start chucking these in, and I don't think I'm gonna, oh, bugger me. I don't think I'm gonna do any like, what's the word? Like a time lapse or anything. I'll just, hello, where'd that bale go? I'll just keep throwing them in, see what goes. It'll probably have to be several trailer loads, no doubt. So I will see you all when it's in the trailer and we can take it where it goes. That being the animal dealer. Okie doke, round one. Let's deliver this to the animal dealer. And I think it works a lot better than stacking them on a flatbed, honestly. If we had taken the time to stack them onto the back of the pickup truck, it would still take forever, and then it would just start dancing all over the place like it did before anyway. So this way it can do all the dancing inside the grain trailer. I almost half expected the straw to like fill up the trailer instead of being bales. So I was somewhat pleasantly surprised when I climbed up and found out that the bales are actually just sort of neatly falling into place and doing their own thing. So this is going to be the first load that we deliver. then we're gonna go back. We'll probably sleep on it, because I doubt Katie wants to sit there until after 5, and I mean, she'd probably be there, because if there are animals, someone will always be there, sort of on call, make sure everything's alright, would be my guess anyway. Let's actually take this little dirt path, see if we can get it in without knocking over the, yeah, professional driver here. And, okay, that's where we buy stuff, and that's where we, hold up, straw to animal dealer. Tag the place. Yes, right here. Okay. This is where we sell things. Bloop, 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 bloop. So that was 4,300. And now we'll go back to the farm. Load up the... Oh my, yeah, there it is. Look at that. The VR. If you haven't seen the news, they have announced a sort of a new farming simulator version, or game, I guess. And it is Farming Simulator VR, as the name implies. It is going to be Farming Simulator in VR, virtual reality. You will get to use whatever Oculus Rift type thing that you have, or don't. If you don't own it, you're kind of SOL. And play a different version of Farming Simulator that, incidentally, will actually have a lot of features that I was literally thinking about as I was doing all the logging in the episode that's never been. It has a lot of, like, because you have VR, you get to use your hands to control things, and so it has a lot of, like, handheld controlling of stuff, a lot more so than Farming Simulator itself. For instance, instead of going to a menu and switching your wheels on your tractor, you actually have to unscrew, you know, the lug nuts and take the wheel off and put new wheels on. And this is kind of what I was thinking, that Giants is a little too close to their own game to make meaningful sort of changes to how the game actually works, because I would very much love that. I would very much love, you know, we don't have to go all the way down to like a car mechanic simulator level where we literally have to unscrew every single lug nut on a wheel to take it off. But I would love to be able to just, you know, come up and be like, detach a wheel. Wheel detaches, and then we have to roll it over and put it someplace and actually store our wheels and have meaningful use for hand implements, you know, so that we can actually do sort of a small scale farming instead of this being just a tractor driving simulator. But anyway, here is the second load, and I will be back when that's done, probably on January 2, because I think there's no reason not to roll the day over. So I'll do that, and I will see you when I'm there. Okie doke. So here we are with the second load of straw, and I should probably verify real quick that animal dealer is still the preferred destination. Unfortunately, the price has dropped a little bit, but it is what it is. There's going to be one more load after this one, and then we'll be all done with it, and we should have enough money to build the sheep pasture. And so that's what we're going to do. That's kind of going to be the highlight of this episode. Hopefully this annoying fog and sort of gloom clears up a little bit, and we'll be able to kind of enjoy the visuals of building that pasture. I forgot to check if there were any like interesting vehicles or implements on sale, or used for sale rather, not on sale. And so when I turned the day over, I only remembered that this morning, oops, didn't succeed this time. There wasn't anything all that interesting in there. Maybe a windrower, but again, we don't really need a windrower at the moment, and I'd rather not stockpile things that are just gonna sit at the farm for ages. Here we go. So one last load. This was a smaller one, and it was for a little bit less money. The first load was $88 per, what is it, 1,000 liters? 100 liters? I don't know, 1,000 liters. And this one was 85. So we made less and we brought less, but that's just what it is. And in the future, I think I'm gonna skip using the tiny baler. I have already seen, yeah, good job, you muppet. I have already seen the Go Wild round baler for sale twice. And I haven't bought it either of those times because we need the money for all these various other projects, unfortunately. It would be nice if the baler came on sale, or for sale rather. Again, I'd go with the on sale. When we're actually in possession of a bunch of cash, rather than when we're at our lowest and can't even pay for a couple groceries, right? So, yeah. Tough luck on that. But hopefully that'll change in the future. And we will be able to kind of create bigger bales. And by kind of, I mean, it involves a whole different thing, right? If we have bigger bales, we're going to need something to handle them and something to load them on. But we already have a front loader. And we already have a pallet fork, and we can very easily use a pallet fork in place of a bale spike, or even buy a. I just turn it off. Yeah, buy a bale grab, more meaningful than just your basic bale spike, right? If we look over here, for 600 we can buy just like your most basic of all basic bale spikes. But then there's other things. There's round bale fork, which we can get, and then we could use that for even wrapped bales. Same with bale handler. This actually grabs bales and allows you to handle them like that. Or we have this handler, which allows you to transport the bales, right? There are many different options. This is for square bales, but my point still stands that there is a lot of options for all of this stuff. So we only have a few bales left, and as you can see, I don't know what happened, because I remember vividly, and you can go back in time and check the episode if you don't believe me, I stacked this perfectly neatly, and then it just blew up. And I thought maybe just the outside ones will have blown up, but nope, the entire just pile turned into a complete colossal mess. So that is part of the reason why I'm definitely getting a round baler in the future, even if it means renting it for the straw harvest we're gonna get from our barley fields. Also, because we have 2 large barley fields this time around, it would be twice the amount of bales than what we have right now, and I am not willing at all to deal with all of these little handheld bales, which is kind of funny, having just talked about wanting Farming Simulator to have more stuff that can be handled by hand at such small scale, which these bales are the one and only thing that actually is in any way meaningful. But the problem with them is the physics. Yeah, if this is what it looks like after I've actually done a good job stacking, then I don't want to have to deal with it, and so I'm not going to. We're going to use round bales, and we're going to hope that their physics aren't a clusterfuck. And so, yeah, there. I was going to go and blink this again, make a transition, but now I'm not so sure, because this round is going pretty well. No bales have yet ended up anywhere inappropriate. In the previous round, I spent 5 minutes trying to get one bale in because I kept throwing it over from one side to the other. And either I got the hang of it or something's different. I don't know. I also don't want this video too long, so I don't know. Something. So long as there's something to talk about, we can keep doing. And then once there's nothing that comes to mind, we'll just flash forward and be done with it. Whoop, nice. Off the rim. Must have been practicing at the basketball court or something. Oh, that's the first one I missed. There we go. Just a little quick double tap. And whoop. Hello, bale. Bam. Did it go over? Nope, it went in. Good job. And so when we build the sheep pasture, we're gonna use the same one that the goats are in. I would love to have the one with the hut in, but it turns out that aside from the fact that it is actually like a lot more expensive, which I don't know, 50,000. The prices in this game are kind of wonky in that you pay 50,000 for a wooden shed to have your goats in, which doesn't even really need, like, it's barely code compliant, right? It's literally just a rudimentary wooden structure with a light in it and maybe a faucet to fill up your little water trough. And it costs 50,000, but somehow we can put together an entire paper factory for 350. I don't know about that, but you know. So I wanted to build the one with the hut just because it would be a little bit more realistic for the animals to have somewhere to hide in the winter. And then I realized that if we did that, we wouldn't have to actually give them water, as if like the shed has like an automated watering for them. And that is kind of fine on the one hand. On the other, it's kind of silly because it just, if we don't have to give them water, then it basically means that we don't have to go and see them ever, right? So it's going to be another one of those things where we're like, yep, we bought sheep, Bob's your uncle, we'll never see them again other than to go pick up a pallet of wool every now and then. Which, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of dumb. Similarly, I'm hoping that in the future we will see a mod. So already there is a mod right now called Realistic Milking Times that changes the way milk is produced, and instead of having a all-day trickle, you get milk added at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. So if you download the mod and then you stand in front of your milk pallet and you're looking at it and you're like, where the hell is my milk? Well, at 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. all the milk that would have been produced that day gets added to the pallet of I don't know what those milk buckets, whatever they're called. That way it's a little bit more realistic because you don't just milk your animals whenever, you milk them every morning and every evening as they produce the milk. And so I would like to see something similar for wool production. I would like to see a mod that changes wool production from like a trickle every day and every year to you get nothing all year and then you harvest the wool in like the end of spring when it starts to get really warm and the sheep don't need the wool, and then you just get like a windfall of wool. That I think would make a little bit more sense. And it is possible that somewhere where they have vast flock, is it the right word, flocks of sheep, they might be shearing them throughout the year, but I actually doubt it, because whenever you live somewhere where farming sheep is sort of the means of livelihood, it's not going to be anywhere particularly cozy, right? Like if you have tropical climate where it's nice and warm all year round, you're going to do other farming. You're going to grow sugarcane and tropical stuff that actually makes you more money than wool. So if you live someplace sort of inhospitable, where it rains a lot or mountainous, you might be doing a lot of sheep, and there I don't think you're going to be shearing them all the time, right? You're gonna give them some protection from elements and from sort of pest wildlife type thing. But feel free to correct me if you're familiar with sheep farming on a larger scale. We are gonna probably have, based on the size of the goat pasture, we are probably gonna be able to get in maybe 35 sheep. What is happening? Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's scooch that one out of the corner as well. 35 sheep would be my guess, because it's going to be a little bit bigger. And I will admit that I have already pre-tested it so that we didn't run into too many issues. Anyway, here we go. Last trailer load of straw headed off to Katie's animal dealership. And then we'll get building and we'll get some sheep. But before we do that, we'll save the game. Remember, always save your game before you begin any irreversible projects on these in these games, because you don't want to regret your choices, particularly with the area restricted bug, which reportedly, if you build a fence and then you try to remove it and then build it again, it will not allow you to. It will just be forever broken, and you might as well just go play a new map, because it won't let you do anything. So we will try to avoid that by doing it right the first time and saving before we embark on such dramatic journey. But before we do that, let's pop off over here and sell all the things. Sell all the bales. I'm actually glad I don't have to tip it, because I bet you it would get stuck. I can totally imagine as the tailgate opens, the bales just get stuck and then none of them come out, and then we have to handle them out one by one again. And bam, didn't even need to slow down, sort of a drive-by sale. But yeah, here you can see the let's actually hop on out real quick, have a look at it. Here you can see powered by Meta. Oh, good grief. But you can see how it's going to look, right? So you're going to use your VR and you're going to handle, and this is what I was talking about. I would love boxes. And I don't necessarily need to like harvest by hand, at least not in the sense that like I want to pick every individual tomato. It could just be something as simple as you just walk up to the plant and you click harvest, right? And I realize that there's probably a lot of people who are like, oh hell no, do not do that to Farming Simulator. And I'm like, you could always have the feature toggleable. Yeah, we can easily have go into the greenhouse or whatever plant and hand harvest the fruit, and it spawns into a little hand carry box that we can actually lift without a pallet fork, right? We can easily have that, and if you don't like that mechanic, it could easily be toggleable. Even something as simple as it being in the build menu, right? Like when we want to place a greenhouse down, it can have the option, do you want this greenhouse to automatically harvest the crops and place them on a thing? Yes or no. If you select yes, then it'll just continue being the same way it is now. If you select no, then it'll be on you to harvest all the crops. I would very much like that. I would very much like to see changes to the way the game works fundamentally, on a fundamental level, not just that, oh yeah, look, we added a little bit of ground deformation. Whoop-de-doo, we asked you for this in FS15, but here we are 10 years later. Good job. So, you know, without ragging on Giants too much, this is why I was saying I think they may be a little too close to their own game, but it is good to see that in the VR version they are looking at these things, and maybe in the future they will be able to add a lot of that into this game as well. Because let's face it, you don't always need VR. You don't need VR for handheld stuff, right? Like, there are plenty of games where handheld stuff works right now. But anyway, here we are. We have 33,617. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to write down that number, because I want to not lose track of how much money we kind of gain or lose. So 33167 as of right now. I'm going to slow the time way down so that the time doesn't fly away as we're trying to fiddle around with the fences, and I'm going to save the game somewhere. Bam, done. Okay, last thing before we do anything, I downloaded a mod that I saw over in the official mod hub, which allows us to kind of edit the map without having to go into the Giants editor, and it allows us to kind of make things go away. So for instance here, if I hit H, I can remove the sunflower bale decoration. Wabam shazam, and it's gonski. So now, ideally, we should be able to build the pasture where this decoration used to be. So let's mosey on over here so that we're not in the way. Turn this on. And yeah, so you can see this is going to be a vastly larger pasture. I'm estimating maybe at least a third larger than that one. Cannot place a fence here. Oh, that's a cow farm. We don't want a cow farm, we want a sheep farm. Bam. And we have free mode on. Is that everything? Yeah, so ideally I would have loved to place it here, kind of like this way, maybe right here, but it won't let me, even though I want to customize the field. Another sort of feature that could have been handled a little bit better, I think. But I will be able to just do it kind of right here, and then that way we can just back up the trailer to that water trough right there. So maybe a little bit deeper in so that the spawning point isn't too far into the road. That should be good. Place item. Do you want to customize? Yes, I do. And then we start over here, and we're gonna try not to go too far to here, because we won't be able to collide with another item. See, but as you can see right here where the sunflower was, we are not getting any area restricted or object collides with another item nonsense. So this is great. You gotta use that more carefully, because you could irreversibly ruin your game. But here we go, 1200. So we're gonna probably have to give ourselves a little bit of money back, because it will be, yeah, I don't know, more expensive than what it should be. Area is restricted, area is restricted, area is restricted. So we're gonna try over here, and we're going for a similar width as this fence over here. Land is not owned by you. What are you talking about? So we're gonna kind of skirt the outside fence without hitting any area restricted nonsense. This is gonna be a big sheep pasture. I can tell already I'm gonna like it. And then when we get to this fence right here, I don't want to bump up too close. I want to have a little bit of a walkway in between the two. Maybe like that. And then we should be able to just drag that all the way down to here. Bam. Oh, we're gonna be poor. We're not gonna have money to buy the sheep with. There. And then a little bit of space. Area is restricted. I mean, we've handled this beautifully. Look at this. First time's the charm. Hello. Can I help you? Oh, you're kidding me. Okay, well, we handled it almost beautifully. We're gonna give ourselves a little bit of money back. Plant meadow. Yes, absolutely, plant meadow. So here we are. We spent all of our money. So we had 33,167, and we spent it all on building this. And I disagree with that, because as you can see, shoot, if we go back, this is supposed to cost 14,000 to build, and it cost us double that. And even though we used more fence, this fencing is not that expensive. The most expensive part of this would be the metal troughs. And so we're gonna here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give ourselves money back for that last segment that it ruined over here, and that was, I think, like 1200, right? So we're gonna do plus 1200 to undo what the game screwed up. And from here, this is kind of preference, I guess. I feel like it wouldn't be double the money. I feel like this wouldn't be $33,000 worth of fencing, right? If 14,000 gave us that old thing, it would probably be just another 2 rolls of fencing. So I'm thinking we'll give ourselves 10,000 back. Bam. I think that's a lot more agreeable. And that's that. Look at that. Beautiful. Now we actually have money to put sheep in this thing. So, let's go and do that. Let's grab. Now, which sheep should we get? That is the question. I mean, honestly, none of these are sheep I'm familiar with, if I'm entirely honest. I think the best sheep for wool, honestly, is merino, because that's sort of the popular one, I guess. So I don't know if this is, you know, should we get the lanterns of Bethlehem or Bentheim, whatever, or Steinchaff? Like, what is the difference in these sheep other than that this one has a black face and this one has a white face, and this one has a brown fur or brown wool and black face, and this one is entirely black? Yeah, I don't know, but we're gonna grab a bunch of them. Let's actually, how many can we fit? 35. Perfect estimate. So we're gonna grab 10 of them. Let's do these ones. Yeah? I don't know. Yeah, let's do these ones. Why not? We want to buy 10 of them for 5,388. Buy those sheeps. There they are. Look at the mighty sheep at our brand new pasture. Let's zoom in on that. Pop a screenshot real quick. Look at that. We're gonna make that the thumbnail. And yes, so we're just gonna go and deliver them some water, and deliver water for these bad boys as well, or bad girls, I guess, since we don't really have male animals in this game. Whoa. And then we're gonna end the episode. So, let's back the tractor back out of the shed. Pick up the water tanker, which is conveniently located right where I left it. No physics fuffery yet. Okay, here we go. Filling up. And then we're gonna go and deliver it over there. We're gonna do that. But the only difficult part about all of this is gonna be backing up the trailer, because it is an articulated axle. But I think we don't even need to do anything in terms of buying another bale of hay, because the goats have plenty. Yeah, so this is gonna suck. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kinda do one of these, and then hopefully I can just back it up by an inch to get the trigger to touch the other trigger. So yeah, I built this in a really cool way, unless you count backing up with an articulated trailer as part of what we have to do. Come on. Ah, this is such a pain in the booty. There. Bam. Fill her up. Alright, 1,500 liters for the sheep. It'll only be about 1,000 liters for the goats over here, because they're still sitting pretty at about 500. So here we go. Kind of scooch it up near the fence, and then there is the trigger. Excuse me. And that's all good. And then I'll just fuff around with this some other time and see if I can. Well, I guess I don't need to automate it at all, but I need to do just the food, and I can do that off camera. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here with me, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.